to a final dress fitting, and I usually don't go with all of my brides to their final dress fittings, but I do to my brides that have a very intricate bustle. And that's something that is very important, that you understand how their bustle works. First, let me tell y'all a story as to why this is so important. So I was about, about 2 years in the business. And I had a bride that had a really, really big dress. And I want to say she had about 30 bustles. Like, it was just so many bustles. And we were at her during cocktail hour. And during cocktail hour is usually when, you know, the bride gets bustled and everything gets ready for the grand entrance into the reception. Well, I and my assistant, like, we had no idea that her dress had this many bustles. Like, we knew the dress was big, but we had no idea that it had this many bustles. So here comes cocktail hour, and we're like, okay, let's bustle your dress. And we lifted it up, and it was just like strings everywhere. It was like, oh my God. So we were sitting up here trying to bustle. Needless to say, 30 minutes later, a whole 30 minutes out of an hour, we finally got her bustled, and it was just like the biggest waste of time, because we, you know, could have used that time to make sure that everything was perfect for the reception, making sure that everything was exactly the way that it needed to be. And because we weren't familiar with her bustle, obviously it took us a really long time, and that cut into our timeline for the wedding. And so it was just like, it was a lot. Stress was a lot. So needless to say, I learned my lesson, and, you know, from then moving forward, I always make sure that I try to go to my bride's dress fitting whenever she does have a lot of bustling required. And for y'all that might not know what a bustle is, so dresses, as y'all know, they have so many different designs. Lots of beading, lots of pearls, lots of lace, you know, rhinestones, just whatever the design may be. Well, a lot of the designs for the wedding dresses are for the dress to have a train. So whenever the dress has a train, it doesn't even have to be a long train. It just needs to be like in the design of a train. It's going to require that the dress be bustled, because whenever they, you know, get finished with the ceremony, they go into their first dance when they're entering into the reception. They don't want to be stepping on the dress. And for the rest of the night, for the reception, they don't want to be stepping on the dress. Whenever you go to the final dress fitting, usually the people that work at the bridal salon will kind of walk you through how it needs to be bustled. So I like to go, so I have a heads up of what needs to be done. We can go ahead and knock it out. It's not going to require us to spend a whole lot of time on it, because we need to be back in the ballroom to make sure that everything is, you know, laid out exactly the way that it needs to be, in order to start letting guests in, and you know, for your couple to see the room. That's something else that's very important too, that I feel like a lot of people miss out on, is as a wedding planner, you guys really need to make sure that you allow time within your timeline for your couple to see the room before anybody else does. Because we all know, once the guests get in and nothing is, you know, perfect the way that it should be, because people start messing with stuff, they start rearranging things, and it's just good for you to always have a scheduled time in your timeline for your couple to see the room before anybody else does, if your time allows it. Because I know a lot of these venues are only giving y'all like 4 hours, just craziness. Like, couples are paying thousands of dollars for only like less than 8 hours. So I know sometimes it's hard to schedule everything in, but that's where experience comes in. Like, you have to know how to schedule a good timeline, and that's something that is very important, that you always need to make sure that you schedule in, because they're the ones that's paid for this. Them or their parents have paid for this, and that's what they paid for. That's one of the things that they paid for, is to have that overall look of what they envision in their mind. And they came to you because you're the professional. You're able to take what they had in their mind and turn it into reality. And so with that being said, while that's happening, while your couple is looking at the room, you need to always make sure that your photographer, your videographer are in the room as well, so they're getting those shots of a perfectly designed room before any of the guests come in. So those are things that are just, those little things that mean a lot. Those are things that your couple is going to remember, because the day goes by so fast. And, it's just good for them to have that moment to kind of, enjoy that perfect atmosphere before, everybody comes in. So that's something that they will really, truly appreciate. It's something that they probably don't even think of when you're sitting down and, going over details to start getting your timeline together. But make sure that you always put that in there. And, make sure that you kind of give them a heads up that, hey, after the ceremony, depending on how things work, because it might be a situation where you have to flip the room if the ceremony is in the same room as the reception. So you may have to flip the room. Heck, they might even be taking pictures while you're in there flipping the room. Like, that happens a lot. It just depends on the venue and the venue layout and what all you're able to do, because like if the couple doesn't want to do pictures before the ceremony, if they're like don't want to see each other, they don't want to do a first look, a lot of times you may have to have those pictures in the room while you guys are flipping, because we all know we only get 1 good hour to flip a room. So it is crunch time. It is all hands on deck, and it is, hey, we got to get this done, because like I said, couples are only getting so many hours that they're trying to fit everything within, this very tight timeline. And it is your responsibility to make sure that you time that thing down to the T. I am a stickler on time, because the way that my mind is working, I'm just like, okay, when you break down the amount of money that they've spent for, just to have the venue and just everything for the amount of hours, I mean, you can literally be looking at somewhere between $10,000 an hour, depending on what the couple's budget is. But that's just the way that my mind is working. So I'm always trying to make sure that we get everything in within that time frame, everything that's special to them. They may have, like, they're looking at a video montage during the dinner. They may have somebody perform. I mean, there's just so many different things that couples, want their guests to experience. So it's just very important that you sit down and you do a detailed timeline. And that really, truly does come from experience, because with you being a new planner, like, you're not going to know all the things that can come up, and so therefore it'll be really difficult for you to schedule a timeline. It definitely comes with experience, that is for sure. I think I didn't become a master at timelines until like my fourth or fifth year in the business. Like, just because by that time you've gone through most of your trials and tribulations, and you've experienced what can go wrong, how it can go wrong, what you needed to do to fix it. And so once you get past that stage in your business, then you know exactly how to sit down and do a very realistic timeline. So where whenever you send it out to your vendors, they're just like, what the hell? How in the hell are we supposed supposed to do all of this, and then it's like they know that it's a well thought out timeline, and they can be like, okay, well, we know, they look at it in a whole nother aspect. It's like, okay, so we know that we have this much time and we need to get this done. It's something that is very attainable for them to know exactly what needs to be done at what time and when. Okay, so another thing, y'all have been emailing me about our mentorship program, and I never thought when I started this, like, I would have so many people interested in it. It was just that I knew how it was whenever I got started. I know I didn't have that many, gosh, I can't, maybe even on one hand, people I could think to that I could go to with whenever I needed help in the business. Like, there was so much that I just had to figure out on my own. And if I can help somebody that's new in the business not have to go through that stage of trying to figure so much stuff out the hard way. Like, you're going to have to figure stuff out. I mean, that's just anybody in any business, being an entrepreneur. Like, you have to figure stuff out on your own. But there's so many things that I'm able to teach, that my team is able to teach somebody new coming into the business, where that, not to do that, or always look out for these certain things. And it's, a lot of times it's with you experiencing things, during the wedding day. It's just, it's so much that could go wrong. And that's why, especially if you guys are doing the business and you are literally charging anything less than $1,000, let's just say for a day of coordinator, which you already know that's a myth. But that's a whole nother video. I think I did make a video about that. I'll put it in the link. But anyway, if y'all are charging anything less than $1,000, and $1,000 is really a straight up rookie price anyway. But I'll see on some people's websites where they'll charge like less than $1,000, and I'm like, and then they'll have like 2 or 3 people help them. Like, how are y'all making any money? Like, I don't understand. Like, how are you making any money? Because I mean, I just know the cost of running, an event planning business, and it's not cheap. It is, definitely a service business. Of course, we have our side of florals, but that's like a whole nother entity in itself. But we're just talking about straight up, like, coordinate planning. Because when we live in a time right now where you can pretty much find out anything you need to know on the internet, we have a lot of brides that are just coming to us because they found all of their wedding professionals, their photographer, videographer, their cake, like all of that stuff, and they just need, somebody to wrap it all together. Well, that in itself is a lot, because we always prefer when we can start with a couple from beginning to end, because that way we have a better gist of what their overall, what their overall goal is for the wedding, what they feel that they want it to look like, what they want their guests to experience. Like, all of that takes months for you to really get to know your couple, because every couple that you have is going to be completely different. And you may take the same steps to get there, but their needs and desires and just wants are going to be completely different from another couple. And it is so hard for you to pull that off in like a month's time. Like, it's just really, really hard for you to get to know your couple and to successfully execute what they're looking for. Because as to be a good wedding planner, like, you have to take your desires as far as aesthetics out of the equation, because it's not what you want. It's not what you want, the wedding to look like. It's about what your couples envision. And they come to you as a professional because they know that, okay, I want this color, I want this theme, I want, these special invitations or these, special linens. but it's your responsibility to take everything that they like and pull it all together to where it makes sense and it's a beautiful design. Because at the end of the day, that's why they came to you in the first place, because they realized that they could not do it all, and they didn't want their friends and their family struggling on the day of trying to, you know, be their wedding planner when they have absolutely no experience in it. Like, it's gonna be a disaster. There's no way around it. You're asking people that are supposed to be your guests, that are supposed to be enjoying, you know, your expression of love for each other, to work. And it's just not going to be good. They're going to have an attitude. They're not going to enjoy the experience. All they're going to do is talk about you. Because they're going to be upset that they had to work. Like, they're supposed to be a guest. They're not supposed to be there to work. And that's why you hire professionals, because this is what they do. Day in, day out, every weekend, this is what they do. This is what they specialize in. And it just makes sense. Whenever you're looking for a house, you're going to go to a realtor, because that's what a realtor does. If you need legal advice, you're going to go to an attorney, because that's what they do. That's not something that you necessarily know about. Like, you may know, you know, basic laws, but like I was saying, as far as couples needing to hire a professional, it's like any professional service. Whenever you don't know or you're not an expert in it, you always want to hire somebody that has been doing it. Like I was saying, such as a real estate agent, an attorney, different things like that. Services where you go to a professional because you know that they're going to be able to give you the results that you need. It's the same reason why our couples come to us, because we're professionals and we're able to produce the results that they need. So with that being said, with there being so many different moving parts and things like that, like, you really want to make sure that you are giving them the best service that they're paying for. And I started offering the mentorship program just because I want people that are, you know, in the business, new in the business, to get hands-on experience, because that's not something that I necessarily was able to get. Like I was just saying, I had to learn through trial and error. And if I could, you know, save y'all that time and pain, then that's, you know, what I want to do. But we currently have been getting so much great feedback from it. And right now we currently have a waiting list for it, even going into 2019. So whatever y'all do, don't think that we're taking forever to get back with you. Most of the time we're putting your name on a waiting list, and we'll send you a waiting list email letting you know that that's what's going on. So we've made it extremely affordable, and I think that's a lot of the reason why we're getting such great feedback too, because, you know, most wedding planning trainings, anything like that, are like easily $1,200 and up. I spent $1,200, actually a little bit more than that, whenever I went to get my training, and it was very helpful. The program that I went to, it was with a local association, which I am still a part of. And the thing about that, which I didn't really take into consideration, is that this particular association was highly established, and the wedding planners were highly established. That's why I was, you know, really attracted to it, being someone new in the industry. I was really attracted to that, and that's what, you know, made me want to join, because I was like, okay, so if they've been doing this and they're successful with it, you know, they could teach me, which was a great thing to do. That's definitely what you want to do whenever you're looking to join anybody's program. But the vendors that they would recommend and would, you know, suggest that we use, I didn't take into consideration, with me being new in the industry, that my couples could not afford to pay those vendors' pricing. So I still had to go through the heartache of trying to find great vendors, you know, where my couples could afford. Because of course, when you first get started, like, you're not doing $40, $50, $60, $70,000, $80,000, $100,000 weddings. Like, you're just not, like, there's no way that you can even handle that type of wedding because you're still new in the business. So of course you're booking things that are less than you know, $20,000 easily. So you're not going to suggest to your couple that they, you know, book a photographer that's like $7,000 or $8,000 when, you know, when their budget is, you know, less than 20. Like, that just makes no sense. So I get that, and I get where the whole situation, that struggle, like, I feel that struggle. And that's why I really wanted to, you know, offer some type of a program to where I would be able to help people out that were, you know, going through that. You know, just trying to find your way in this crazy business. And I just really wanted to reach out and help, because I have so much experience, so much information that I want to share, because I know the struggle, I know the heartache. And yeah, I just really, like, this is my way of giving back to people that I know, you know, want to have successful businesses and want to learn the most that they can, and, you know, just need that, they just need that little bit of, you know, their foot in the door, just to know more than the next person, because there's so many fly-by-night wedding planners and event planning companies coming up, and it's just like, it's a lot. It's just a lot. And if you know what you need to know, then you will be successful. And then, like I said, there's no sense in me hoarding all this information that I've learned throughout the years. It makes no sense. I need to share it. And this is, like I said, we found a affordable solution where I'm able to do that. But like I said, we have received a big response. And, you know, if we take a while to get back with you, we will get back with you, and just let you know what the status is as far as that. But the information can also be found on the website as well. But yeah, I'm about to go in here for the dress fitting, and I will let y'all come along with us so you can see.
Not yet.
Well, that's
She said not yet.
I'm doing the prep for you.
Oh, can I be?
I'm about to go and grab me a little early dinner. And I say that is because I have one more place that I need to stop, and to go and look at a venue just real quick, just to film it. We deal with a lot of brides that are out of town, and either they're from Dallas, the DFW area, and moved to other states and are deciding to have it here just because their friends and family are here, and plus it's cheaper than your major cities like California, Chicago, New York. Way cheaper to have a wedding in Texas. So a lot of times, because y'all know, venues on websites, like, they could look nothing like that in person. So a lot of times I'll go for my couples that are out of state and just film the venue for them so they can see like what it looks like for real and not just the beautiful images that you see on the website. And then that way we're able to narrow down whenever they do come in town, you know, the venues that they actually do want to look at in person. It just saves us so much time for me having to drive all over town because they want to look at 10 different venues. You know, I'm just able to download this footage real quick, shoot it in our Dropbox, email it to them, and they're able to look at it and see if they even want to see it whenever they come to town. So we're about to hop over to this spot, film a little bit of footage, and I think I'm gonna go to the Happiest Hour. Like, I've been craving their fries, their cheese fries. I know that y'all have had them if y'all have gone there. Like, oh my god, they're so good. So good. So I'm gonna grab that and then head on back home before traffic gets too bad, because I still have like a ton of emails to send, respond to, different things like that. I'm not sure when I will be able to vlog again. I'm trying to do this more. I really am, because I just want to take y'all on like behind the scenes, like different things that we do, just so y'all can see like a day in the life ish. I say ish because I can only show you like small bits and pieces, but just to kind of let y'all know what we do on a day-to-day. It's a whole lot of stuff leading up to the wedding day, a whole lot of stuff. So, but I will see y'all on the next one. Thank you so much for joining me, and y'all have a great week.
Walking the lines like you wanna go higher. I love it, love it, love it, love it. You wanna go, how about you dim the lights? They're going real far, you must have been tired. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Calling my name like a heart's alive. I'm falling deeper tonight.